What do you want to be when you grow up? This is a common question most of you have probably been asked more times than you can count. I know I have. I remember when I was a little girl, if someone asked me, Lily, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would think for a moment while I decided between a fashion designer, a model, or a singer. It's funny, because if you know me, those would never be the three things I would even think to say if you were to ask me that question now. If you're like me and applying for universities, this question probably scares you, because I know for a fact it scares me. It's crazy how a question that you once answered with such big dreams has now become one that comes with expectations and the stress of achieving whatever you choose to become. Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lily Williams. And to tell you the truth, I have no clue exactly what I want to be. But I do know one thing. When I grow up, I want to be happy. What is happiness? According to Shauna Core, happiness is not the belief that we don't need to change. It's the realization that we can. But to be honest, I believe happiness is different in everyone's eyes, and that there isn't one set definition to describe this. When we were younger, happiness was being able to eat a chocolate bar or ice cream before dinner because your parents said you could. However, as we got older, happiness became more specific to what you enjoyed doing at the time. Currently, I believe happiness is a smile that no matter what cannot be wiped from your face, or the laughter that you just cannot control. These are the moments when the weight that you carry on your shoulders is briefly lifted off, and for a couple of minutes you feel nothing but pure joy. It is a quick escape from all the responsibilities, stress, and expectations that live in your head. Unfortunately, I think as we get older, fewer things can make us truly happy. This is not because we simply don't want to be happy, but because we are not as naive as we were when we were only 4 years old. I know that feeling happy is easier said than done. It's hard, because when I think about it, I'm happy when something can make me forget about all my worries for just a moment. As you grow up, the weight of the world begins to increase year by year. This is because a part of growing up is taking on new responsibilities, which creates more things to worry or stress about. One of the biggest things that affects our happiness is stress, a word I know I'm way too familiar with, and many of you may be too. It's funny how a one-syllable word can completely engulf you and control your life. 9 out of 10 times, if someone asks me how I'm doing, my response I've come to realize is usually along the lines of, I'm okay, thanks. Stressed, but you know how it is. This is something that I've struggled with all my life. Naturally, I've always been extremely hard on myself, and as I've always held myself to high standards. In turn, this has caused me to dwell on the smallest mistakes I make, especially from an academic standpoint. This has definitely taken a toll on my happiness. I know sometimes stress can take over and cause you to feel hopeless, but ever since I can remember, my dad has always told me, if it won't matter in 5 years, don't stress about it for more than 5 minutes. And that is something that has definitely helped me realize what's actually worth stressing over and what's not. The harsh reality is, nobody is always happy, and that's okay. Nevertheless, I think it's extremely important to know what makes you happy for the times when you need to cheer yourself up. So ask yourself, what makes you happy? When I ask myself this question, my mind shifts into 2 different directions. I think that there are 2 types of happiness: personal happiness and the happiness you share with others. Recently, one of my favorite things to do is go to the gym here at Appleby. After a long school day, something about finding time to work on me and clear my head has helped me so much throughout this year. Every time I set aside some time to go, I always come out feeling re-energized and motivated to continue with all the responsibilities that I hold. This makes me happy. Then there's the happiness that you gain from the happiness of others. I am fortunate enough to come from a family that is made up of people who care about each other more than anything else in the world. This past summer, the importance of family really stood out to me. In times like these, I was so fortunate to be surrounded by a huge family that even in scary times, found ways to make the happiest memories that will last a lifetime. I remember one night, we all sat outside and listened to our favorite songs together as each person shouted out what they would hear next. In that moment, nothing else in the world mattered to me. The sound of laughter filled the air as we all sang along to the music blasting in the background. Each and every one of us had a smile painted across our faces. I felt pure happiness. Until I came to Appleby, I did not realize what a big part they played within my happiness. So, when I first came to Canada, it was hard missing out on all the family beach days and watching them all come together while I sat in a boarding house. However, I soon came to realize that the happiness that the sense of family brought me did not necessarily have to be from my own relatives back home. I'm not sure exactly what moment it clicked, but as the year progressed, the people of Bailey House soon became my second family. The sense of belonging and comfort that I got with my own family back home began to be reiterated within my home away from home, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Being a part of the Bailey House family has brought me more happiness than I could ever have imagined. Never would I have thought that I would grow so fond of every single person that makes up this house and create friendships that since then have turned into family. For every student at Appleby, there will come a time when you will be faced with the task of applying to university and deciding what you want to do with your life. For myself and the rest of the graduating class, that time is now. So please, remember, choose courses that will make you want to learn every day. Courses that will drive you to grow as a person and hopefully bring you some happiness along the way. From the words of Albert Schweitzer, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. So yes, I'll admit, growing up has always made me nervous. I think it's mainly because of the uncertainty that lies within the future. Nobody knows what life has in store for them. Nobody can plan for the uncontrollable. But everyone can find what makes them happy. Whether it be watching the sunset, reading a book, playing a sport, or even just hanging out with friends. I challenge you. Find what makes you happy and never let that go. Because in a world of chaos, I believe that the things that make us the happiest are our most prized possessions, so hold them close. Please rise and sing hymn number 418, Draw the Circle Wide.